Welcome back, fellow warriors, to the stage of history. My name is Cosmo Jazz, and this is either part 2 if you watched the first one, or this is going to be part 1 if you're watching this one now, and you're going to watch the next one after. But this is going to be the start of my horror stuff that's going to be happening this month for Spooktober. I'm going to be doing stuff every Friday. It's not going to be reactions the entire time. There is a fly in my room, and I don't know where it came from, and I want it dead. Sorry. But right now we're going to be looking at 4 horror stories animated. Compilation of August 2019. I was actually told this was actually going to be pretty interesting for me. And if the worst case scenario, I might get a kick out of it. So we're gonna see what this is about. Like, I love animated stories, so it's gonna be interesting to see how this one turns out. Let's do it.
This happened when I was a kid. I was in the 5th grade, and my friend, let's call him Ethan, invited me over to his place. He lived right by the ocean. And if you walked through the forest for half a mile, you'd reach a nice beach with a diving board. When I got to his house, we hung out, played video games, and talked. You know, typical kid stuff.
Ethan need a
haircut.
Then
we decided to go to the beach. It wasn't too far away, and we knew we could get back in time for dinner, so we set off. To make the trip more adventurous, we decided to bushwhack our own path. After walking a couple of minutes, we hit a tall fence. "Crap," Ethan exclaimed. "Well, I guess we'll have to go back." Suddenly, out of the corner of my eye, I spotted something. The fence went about 8 meters long and then stopped. My jaw dropped. There was a house. It was an old cabin with boarded up windows.
Okay,
The planks were falling off, and you could see the old insulation underneath. It was gray in color and had flecks of blue paint.
I'm just saying, like,
led up to the
this
side
all
of the house,
sounds like
stopped,
bad
and then
idea
continued
written
on
all
the
over
other
it.
side. What scared me the most was that there was no road. I mean, not even a clearing to get to the road. You'd have to walk 20 minutes.
So that's like
Kevin,
4
come
things
on,
now,
Ethan
4 or
yelled
5,
from behind me.
saying do not
Look
go
at
in
this,
there.
I shouted back. Ethan walked up to me, and his jaw dropped.
Everybody's jaw
There was
dropping.
no door, just a frame. And peering through the
Next
frame,
thing
we
you
could
know,
see that there
you
was
met a
back
random
door,
stranger,
also with
and
no
his jaw
frame.
dropped.
All we had to do was walk through the house, then we could get to the beach. I looked at Ethan. "Should we do it?" I asked him. He shrugged. "I don't see why not," he responded.
I can tell you a
Inside
billion
the
reasons
house
why
was
you shouldn't be
dark,
doing that.
Despite the sunlight pouring in through the door. We advanced slowly through the house, and Ethan pointed to the door. As we reached the door, I peered up the stairs. I grabbed Ethan and shoved him out the door. "What was it?" he said, as soon as we got away. My whole body shook. I must be going mad, I thought to myself. Eventually, I explained it to him. As we reached the door, I wanted to take one last look at the house. I glanced up the stairs and I saw the shadowy outline of a person. All I could see were eyes staring back at me and a crooked grin. Ethan and
Although
I
I'm not
took
surprised in
another
the
route
slightest,
back
I'm
home,
pretty sure
and
that was
we told
somebody's
Ethan's
house.
Mom. She laughed at us and said she'd been that way many times and there was no house. And we were angry because she didn't believe us. So we got out our cameras and went back the next day. When we
Why?
got there was no house. It was just gone. No clearing, nothing.
Ghost
To
house.
this day, Ethan and I still wonder what it was. Was that man just a homeless person, or maybe he was something
So we're gonna get
much,
closer?
much worse?
Extreme
I suggested
zoom.
to Ethan a theory that scares me to this day. I had been reading about Russian folklore, and a page caught my attention.
Okay.
It was a story about a witch named Baba Yaga who had a moving house.
Baba
She would
Yaga.
eat naughty
Isn't that the
children,
boogeyman?
And parents used to use it to scare children. Was this a witch? I guess we'll never know for sure.
I mean, it definitely didn't have that shape, so if it was, that witch can transform. Transformation
I was in
jutsu.
my early teenage years during this time. My family and I went on vacation in a village which had a forest rumored to be haunted. There was a cemetery in the forest. It was a little far away from the village, near a lake. We weren't actually supposed to go to that forest, but my cousins thought it would be fun to play hide and seek.
Always
at
the
night.
cousins. Cousins will
We were
always
given
get you in
some
trouble.
rules. We weren't allowed to take our
Also
phones
may
or
give you the most
flashlights
fun.
with us.
What? Oh,
As
oh, hold on.
planned, we all
Okay.
went in front of our
No, we're not gonna slip by that like that's normal. You don't do that. How old is this cousin? He looks like he about at least in high school, if not older. You don't do that. Leave your flashlight and your phone? Are you kidding me? It's like, what if you lose the kids? What if you? There's so many questions. So many. Oh my gosh, this doesn't make sense.
farmhouse at midnight. Me and my younger sister, who was 7 years old at that time, were the youngest out of everyone. So my older cousin decided to help us hide. He was 22 at that time.
22?
He wanted to make sure we didn't get lost.
What on earth?
After we chose who was going to be the seeker, we parted ways, trying to find the best hiding spot. My older cousin just wanted to win, so he took us to the cemetery. He said, "She'll obviously be too afraid to enter the cemetery. I think this will be a best hiding spot for us." Although my younger sister kept telling us not to go there, we shut her off, telling her she was just a kid.
Of course you
and would
did.
make us get caught.
As boys do. Boys are
To this
stupid.
day, we wish we would have listened to her. It was getting darker. It was almost 2 a.m. Then all of a sudden, the cemetery lights went out.
Of course they
My
do.
sister's hand tightened around my hand. My cousin was obviously scared too. We could only hear the sound of wind and stray dogs barking at the backside of the cemetery. But then
It's about
we
to
heard
go
digging
down.
noises. I still remember that horrifying sound. At a distance, we could see an old
Oh.
man with ruffled
What
hair
is
and
he?
dirty
Yes, he
clothes,
is.
digging a grave with his bare hands. He was making hissing noises while he dug. All of us stood there frozen. We didn't
Yeah,
know
no,
if we
I'm
should
not
scream or
standing
run
there
away.
frozen. I'm
My
backing
cousin
up.
held our hands and started
Backing
to slowly lead us
up.
to the entrance.
Anybody
trying
who's
not
crazy
make
enough to
any
dig a
noise.
grave with their bare hands,
He whispered, "We have
don't want to
get
mess
out
with
of
them.
here." My sister was almost on the verge of crying,
I bet she is.
but to ruin everything,
Should have listened to it in the
I
first
stepped
place.
on a broken branch, making
Of course.
a loud noise. The stranger shot up his head toward our direction, and his lips curved in a creepy smile. "Run!" my cousin yelled, quickly picking up my sister and running away
Nice.
as I followed closely behind them. Thankfully, the man was weak and couldn't run any faster. He
Yeah,
stopped
probably
at the
from
middle
all
of the
that,
cemetery, staring at us with his
getting through the
hazel
grave.
eyes. A few days later, we found out that the man had been caught by the police. He was a criminal who dug up dead bodies, stored drugs in them,
Yikes.
and sent them off to other nations to sell drugs. He was caught once, but successfully escaped. If he wasn't so old and weak, I'm afraid that we might have ended up being a couple of dead
That would have been your
bodies,
ass. Also, another thing. Why was he doing that? He probably was making more than enough money. That'd be
Hi.
kind of fire, though.
My name is Alyssa,
Um,
and I'm 15.
I would have thought he would have been
Few
making more
months
than
ago,
enough money, in
something
my opinion.
strange happened to me. To this day, I can't explain exactly what happened. I was relaxing at my house, doing some schoolwork on my laptop. Being home alone never bothered me until then. After about 2 hours of being alone, I decided to go get some ice cream from the freezer. As I headed back with ice cream to my room, I heard someone bang on the front door. I never answer the doors, and I always make sure they're locked when my parents leave.
Okay,
I
smart
decided
girl.
It was the mailman, and that he would set
At
the
night?
package down and leave. Then I heard the bang again, but louder. I was confused, so I went to my dad's office since it had a window facing the front porch. The second I grabbed the door handle of his office, my parents' bedroom door slammed shut right next to me.
Yeah, nope. We out.
Screamed.
We out.
Our air conditioning was
Nope.
broken at the time, so there was no way it could have been the air. I looked at the door, ran to the other side of the house, and called my mom to see if she was expecting anyone
Yeah,
else.
call 911.
"No, Alyssa," she said. And those 2 words made my heart beat faster than it ever has.
No, you better call
And I
911.
started hearing footsteps.
Jump
coming
out the
towards
window.
me from
I don't
down
even
the
care if you're on
hallway.
the second
I
floor.
ran and hid behind a door in our living room. I knew I'd be out of sight, since I used to hide there as a child. I called my close friend Emily, who always knew how to calm me down in crazy situations. She told me to go and lock myself in my room. As she was talking, I started to hear doors open and slam shut along with footsteps, and the voice of a little girl saying, "I'm going to find you," over and over. I started crying, and when the noise stopped, I ran to my bedroom door. When I grabbed the handle and was about to go in, I heard it again.
Nope.
The little girl was in my room.
You already fucked up like twice.
"Hey, Alyssa, I want to play. Come here." I ran to the
No,
guest
bitch.
bathroom and locked myself in. I started to hear knocking on the bathroom door and the voice, "Don't you want to play, Alyssa? We could have a lot of fun."
Yeah, you can have a lot of
I
fun, but
started
go fuck
screaming
yourself.
back, "Hell no, just leave me alone." She started laughing. The knocking and laughter grew louder and louder. And then it started sounding like that thing, started to walk away, still laughing and knocking. Then I couldn't hear it anymore. My grandpa came into the house yelling,
What's wrong with your
"Alyssa,
eyes?
it's Grandpa. You can come out. You're safe."
Is
I
he
ran
in on
as
it?
fast as I could to my grandpa. Later on, I found out that
Oh,
I
her
had
eyes
my
are like
phone
that too.
cut out on
Maybe
my
it's normal.
mom. She sent my grandpa to check on me. Once I told my grandpa that a little girl had gotten into the house, we went around the house searching for her, but we never found anything. All the windows and the
Expected.
doors were locked. The garage was closed up tight, and nothing was broken into. I hate being home alone now, and being in my room, but I've learned to deal.
Okay. That took a turn. I don't know how I feel about that one. That took a very weird turn. My true horror story of sock.
When I was about 9 years old, I was in my swimsuit, ready to go to swimming lessons. My
Okay.
brother and I had made a pillow fort, and it was still there from the night before. I had
Okay.
crawled underneath the coffee table, where a blanket went over it, blocking out the outside world. I have no idea why I stuck my foot outside of the blanket, but I did. A dark black sock crawled creepily towards my foot and slowly slid over it. The sock was cold, and I felt odd. I recognized
Okay.
the sock. It looked just like the one my mom had. I called out my mom's name and my brother's name, but there was no response, only silence. I walked to the window, but when I looked out, there was nothing out of the ordinary. I saw my cat staring at me with a weird look on her face.
That's a weird
Then,
face, alright.
I was horrified when I heard the shower running upstairs. My mom was still in the shower, and my dad was at work. I ran up the stairs
Where's
to
the
find
story
my brother
going?
spinning on the chair in my parents' room. I asked him if he went downstairs, and he told me he had nothing to do with the situation.
Okay, now his
I
brother
told my
has the
mom what
face.
had happened, but she didn't believe me. She said that I was probably hallucinating and that it was just the cat. But I know what I
Okay, the
saw,
mom has the face
and the
now.
look on my cat's face is still fresh in my memory.
Is that it? Okay, that's it. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that last one. That last one. Well, honestly, the last two, because on the one hand, it's like that story took a giant turn, especially from the last two stories, because it seemed like those other two could be like real stories, right? But then like you had these other two, which seemed a bit more supernatural. Well, I take that back, because I forgot the first story was like a walking house, possibly in Baba Yaga, who could be the boogeyman from my understanding. I could be wrong. But yeah, those last two were really out there. Yeah, I'm lost for words. What do you guys think about those two stories? As always, thank you guys for joining me on the first of the Spooktober things we're going to be doing on the channel. And if you like what you saw, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share. And as always, ask yourself this one question. Does your soul still burn? Bye, guys. Oh my gosh, I'm burping. Have a blessed day.